What's going on, guys? It's your boy Inheritor back again with another replay analysis. This is for TheBrianDuran in Discord. His in-game name is KnickerbockerBD. This is 1v1s, Plat 1 rank. This appears to be a private match. Says this was the 5th game, so it was not the best game, but we'll see what we find here. He was faster on the kickoff there, so you just lost that 50. I went back to see if there was anything wrong with your kickoff, but he was just faster than you. I wouldn't have blasted this. You got to keep in mind this is 1v1s. You got to take control of the ball as much as you can, especially since he wasn't challenging you. There was no need to blast the ball. I would have turned off ball cam there and tried to dribble it. Missed the boost. Thank you for not turning around to try and go back for it. Good beat, although it's kind of hard to see where he was. I'm assuming the person you're playing against is also Plat 1. On your kickoff, really try to get yourself in the middle of the ball here. Compared to the two of you, yes, you are in the middle, but you are really high on the ball, and he was low, so you lost that just because you were higher than him. It's best to try and get the low 50s. You have a higher chance of winning a challenge, a 50-50, I mean. You had two options here. You hesitated here. You could have either power slid yourself around and gone up the wall for it, or jumped right about now for it. So ultimately you just jumped way too late. Good kickoff. Gave him way too much space. Not a whole lot you could have done, but you also didn't try to predict what he was going to do with the ball. Given the positioning on the top of his car there, I could tell he was either going to flick or pop it, which could have you could have just pre-jumped it. But it probably would have been better to try and fake challenge, or at least shadow defense. Use shadow defense. But the fact that you're just sitting here really just allowed him to do whatever he wanted with that ball. Thank you for not going for that off the wall. What is going on with your camera? It's like jiggling back and forth. Not a lot you could have done there. You just kind of reacted slow off the wall. Because you can see once you turn off ball cam, you mistouched, but you just kind of reacted slow. But ultimately, good job keeping control of the ball there. You have no boost. Good job getting that touch back. That's where you messed up. You should have kept going up the wall and popped it up. Normally, I don't agree to doing that, but in the scenario where he is behind you the entire time, you could have kept going up the wall and popped it up, which would have put him in a worse spot than you are. But the fact that you did this gave away ball possession and just... That's really it. The only thing you could have done differently is made sure you went up the wall here instead of turning around. And I don't quite get what you were doing. But mistakes happen. Just keep in mind, 1v1s, you gotta try and keep all possession as much as you can. I don't know what to think about this. I would never go for something like this, especially since you didn't even fake it. So you literally just gave him the goal. And the fact that you didn't half flip to try and get the boost, you just ultimately put yourself in a really bad spot. So if you're going to fake a kickoff, you need to at least flip once towards the ball to make it look like you're going for the ball. Otherwise, that's going to happen, and even if you had gotten the boost, you probably still wouldn't have made it back in time. The other thing you could have done is the fact that you did this, you could have probably reacted a little faster to the touch, because you can't just expect someone to put it into the corner. Which is where the half flip becomes a crucial thing to know. If you don't know how to half flip, please use the general coach chat and let me teach you how to do the half flip, because that is crucial to recovery. Good speed getting back here. You waited a little bit too long to go for it, and then on your takeoff, you like pushed your car left. Well, it was more the fact that you rushed it. Like, you waited and rushed at the same time, which is a really weird concept to grasp. So you rushed back, which is good. However, you hesitated and rushed going for the ball. So when I say you rushed going for the ball, I mean you didn't. Since he wasn't going for it and was in no position to go for it, you could have taken the time to adjust your car accordingly. So doing that made you get a poor touch on the ball here, and yeah, got scored on. Good kickoff. You got more middle on the ball there. It's never a good idea to just sit there while someone's going for the ball. As soon as you saw him moving towards the ball, you should have been going back. I would have turned on ball cam. As soon as you missed, I would have turned on ball, like right here where you're just sitting there, I would have turned on ball cam to see where the opponent is, because you have no idea where they are, with the exception of that tiny little glimpse you got as they were pushing. Smart to play it safe and wait for it instead of flying for it. And good shot. Good kickoff. Although it doesn't particularly matter, I still would have utilized your rear view camera to see where your opponent is, because you had no idea whether they were going back, going for boost, and realistically you could have scored a little bit faster if you had known where they were, because you probably could have gone without going for that boost and still scored, even with no boost. Again, with you gotta make sure you know where the opponent is. When you dribble, turn off your ball cam. See how the camera's turning with the ball? It won't do that with ball cam off, and you can make sure you're keeping control. It's a really, really risky challenge. You should have faked that kickoff, faked that challenge instead of actually gone for it. Because if that happened to have pinched, there's more than likely no chance you were going to recover. And pinched in direction of your net, I mean. There's not likely a huge chance you were going to be able to recover fast enough to save the ball. And again, with that goal, even though you did score, I would have turned off ball cam to make sure you got the right angle on the ball. Doing this gives away ball possession. As soon as you see they're not going for the kickoff, I would have stopped and tried to control the ball, turned off ball cam, and gone for some sort of dribble. Even if it meant taking it to the boost. That's also another really risky challenge you shouldn't be going for, because if they had gotten one little good touch over you, you were done for. It's not always a bad thing to rush, but you have to know what spots are good and bad to do that. And that, anywhere right in front of their back wall, their backboard, their goal, anything like that is a terrible idea. Because like I said, one little touch, you're screwed. As soon as you saw him jump, you should have been double jumping and flying for it. It's another one of those things. You gotta read the play. Keep an eye on where they are, what they're doing. And since you didn't predict the play here, you basically just let them put the goal into put the ball into an open net. Again, I would have been checking to see where the opponent's going. Good job beating him, even though you did get demoed. Bad idea. You, as soon as you saw it was going to go past you, you should have probably backed up a pretty significant amount before flipping into the ball. If you're ever stuck in a situation like this, you need to back up so the nose of your car is going to hit the ball, not the side of your car. Because this is giving away ball possession. Although you did happen to recover on time. Now you turned off ball cam. Good. See, now we're back to blasting the ball again. Unless you're certain you're going to put it at the net, don't blast the ball. Because now you are stuck in a situation where you have no boost. You just blasted the ball against their back wall, and you gave them an open net shot opportunity. Although they didn't put it in. I'm almost thinking they intentionally didn't put it in. Good 50. And you rushed the shot. They had probably no boost. You did not need to rush the shot like that. Could have just turned off ball cam and let it roll off the top of your car. Again, not predicting the play. You're reacting. You're waiting to react off of a hit, and that's ultimately causing you to get beat every single time. You gotta predict the play. Watch what they're doing, where they are positioned with the ball, where if it's on top of their car or not. You gotta keep an eye out for what they're doing with the ball to be able to predict what they're gonna do with the ball. If you can predict what they're gonna do with the ball, or at least make an attempt to predict, you have a better chance of at least hitting the ball. I'm not sure why you took so much time here. You could have flipped. You could have just really banged it in. I mean, it makes it very confusing because I say don't bang it, but I also say bang it. Because looking at your field of view right now, they're not even visible on your screen. Even just a roller to their net. If it was slow, they wouldn't have gotten there. But you took a long time trying to gain control on top of your car, and ultimately they ended up getting back on time for it. Bad idea to go for boost there. That should have been a goal on you. If you're stuck in a situation where you have to go back and they have the ball, you have no boost, don't go for the boost. You need to protect your net. This is another one of those situations you're not looking behind you to see where your opponent is, and you ended up getting demoed. And if you'd seen them coming for the demo, you could have easily avoided them. You panicked here. Ultimately, I wouldn't have even let it go that direction. I would have placed myself ahead of the ball to stop the ball. So instead of right here being where you are, I would be... Like, say this was the back of your car, I would be here. So the ball's going to roll this way instead of bouncing on top of your car right in front of your net. I'm not sure why you were veering so much to the right there. You really want to try and make sure you're hitting the center of the ball in your kickoffs. I'm not quite sure why they were challenging it. That's not the best thing to do. Which leads me to say to you, make sure you're not challenging when it's a situation like that. They have the ball on the wall, because it's so easy to get it over you, and then you end up getting scored on because you just put yourself way out of play. You shouldn't have turned for this. I understand what your intention was, but you still shouldn't have turned for this. You should have played it a little slower, and instead of turning right here, you should have turned a little bit further back, right? Probably right here is where you should have been. That way you could have just boosted and, you know, gotten underneath the ball. Try to dribble it or try to make some play happen out of it. It's kind of awkward considering the opponent's right there. But because you turned that early, it put you in a really bad spot. You shouldn't be going for boost right now. That should have been an easy goal on you. As soon as you touch this, I would have just dropped down into net and tried to make something happen for a save. That was really risky. So like I said, make sure you're protecting your net, not the boost. Boost ain't going anywhere. I'm assuming there's something wrong with your controller that's causing your camera to shake like that. Analog stick is stuck or something, because it is just wobbling back and forth. And I've had that issue with controllers before too. It can cause some interesting issues. So your kickoff for 1v1s needs to be solid. Otherwise, you're going to get hit with kickoff goals a lot. So make sure you're hitting the center of the ball as best you can. At all times, when you don't know where the opponent is, you should know where the opponent is. You should be, if you don't know where they are, you should be looking to see where they are. You need to predict the play that's happening. So if they have the ball on top of their car, you need to factor out the options. If it's on the front of their car, they're going to flick the ball or drop it off their car. If it's on the back of their car, they're more than likely going to backflip and flick it up into the air. If it's towards the middle of their car, depending on what rank you're at, they could try to 45-degree flick it or do some sort of fancy flick. Either which way, try to predict the play. When you're on a defensive standpoint, you need to try not to just sit in net. It's one thing if you don't have time to do something like a shadow defense or fake challenge, but that one period of time where you got scored on because you just sat there at the net and let them do what they want with the ball and gave them all the time in the world, that's because you didn't try to fake challenge or even just shadow defense. I mean, partly because you didn't predict the play, partly because you gave them way too much time to do whatever they needed to do with the ball. So really, I think your biggest issues are just those items. Really try to focus on those items, those things that I mentioned, and if you need help with anything else or have any other questions, you know where to contact me. I hope this helps, man, and I wish you the best of luck with your games. Catch you next time. Skirt!